If you're ready for more Christmas in July DIYs, then this one's for you. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Liz. For today's video, I have some more Christmas in July DIYs that I am super excited for. I think you guys are going to love these. A little bit of everything, some more complicated DIYs, as well as some beginner-friendly DIYs. Let me know in the comments below how many more Christmas in July DIYs that you guys want to do. I was thinking that this may be my last one, but if you guys want more, let me know. I also took a poll on my community tab. You can go over there and check that out and vote so that I know how many more you guys want me to do. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into today's Christmas in July DIYs. For this DIY, I went to Home Depot and picked up 1x3 by 8 foot boards. I picked up 2 of these. Now, I will have all the dimensions in the description box below and on the screen so that you guys can screenshot it if you want to try to recreate this project. I'm going to take all those pieces that I just cut and I have them in 2 different groupings, those 4 pieces at the top and then the 7 pieces on the bottom. I'm going to use a combination of some wood glue and some super glue wood glue to get these to hold together. I also would probably use some clamps that I didn't have at the moment to get these to stick together. I also took some big stir sticks on the back and then added some staples through the back, so that could also work if you want to try to get them to hold together a little bit quicker if you don't have the time to wait for the glue to set up to dry. So we are just going to glue those 4 pieces, like I said, that were on the top, just in that same pattern from biggest to smallest, and then you're going to glue your 7 pieces that are all the same size, all just in a row. Now for those 4 pieces, I had my husband do this for me. He cut it just by finding the middle and then going to each corner, so you're left with a little triangle. Now what could probably be a whole lot easier is just marking the triangle before you glue all the pieces together and cutting them down that way. But either way works as long as you are left with a triangle for your roof. You're also going to take some 1x2s and make a couple little roof pieces. I just left the ends square. You could also cut them at a 45-degree angle if you wanted, but I just left them in that square shape. And then you are also going to take some paint stir sticks to make a little barn door at the bottom, just cutting them at 45-degree angles. Again, all the measurements will be in the description box below. Now I'm going to take my 7 slats that we glued together and I'm going to paint this with my Barn Red Dixie Belle chalk paint. If you ever hear me talk about Dixie Belle, they're always linked in my description box below. If you cannot find Waverly in your Walmarts, this is a really good alternative. I use this a lot, especially since I couldn't find Waverly for a long time. And I can find it now, but I still love Dixie Belle paint as well. So if you need an alternative, I will link it down below. You're also going to take your triangle roof piece, paint that with the Dixie Belle Barn Red, and then I mixed in some Waverly Antique wax while the paint was still wet, so it kind of blended together. And once it was dry, I also took the Waverly wax and went in between each slat to kind of define each of those pieces. And then once the paint on my barn itself was all dry, I'm also taking a small brush and going in between each slat with that Waverly wax and antique. Again, just to define each of these slats as well as to make it look a little bit more rustic and distressed. I'm going to take our 2 roof pieces. I'm also going to paint those with my Waverly Wax and Antique, and I'm just using this just like a stain. I'm going to paint it on and then wipe off the excess. And for our barn door pieces, I'm going to use my Waverly chalk paint in white, and I'm going to give all of those a good coat. I also took my Waverly Wax and Antique and just kind of distressed all the barn door pieces a little bit. I just went around the edges and I just wanted to give them a little bit more dimension so they weren't just that flat white look. Now I'm going to assemble my entire thing. So to attach my roof to the barn, I'm going to take a large paint stir stick and I'm going to add some super glue wood glue to it, as well as some wood glue hot glue to the back, and then I'm going to put that in between right where the roof and the barn meet, and I'm going to hold that down there. I also took my staple gun and added some staples to it as well to add some extra reinforcement. And then I'm going to put my roof pieces on there, again just some super glue wood glue, and some wood glue, hot glue, and I'm just going to add those pieces to my roof. And I just make sure that the roof pieces line up directly with the sides and the top of the roof. And then I'll add my barn door. I'm just taking all of my pieces and just laying them out before I glue them all together. So I just made sure to evenly space the two side pieces, and then I added my roof piece on top. And then you can add in all of your middle pieces. Again, I just laid them all out before I glued them down. And I just used a combination of that super glue wood glue and my wood glue hot glue. It's the Gorilla Glue hot glue sticks. If you've never tried it, definitely check it out. You can get them on Amazon. I'll have them linked below, but they are perfect for DIYs like this. Now I wanted to add a Christmas wreath to my barn. So what I'm going to do is take some picks that I had. I believe I got the majority of these from Hobby Lobby last year during Christmas, and as well as this little wreath form. I also got this from Hobby Lobby. And I just took all those sprigs that I cut off and added some hot glue, and I'm just going to glue these around in the same direction on the wreath. And I just added as many sprigs until I felt like it was full enough. And then I also have these red berries. I think that these are really fun because they're kind of crystallized, and I just cut a couple of these off and then put them down into the wreath. I added a little tack onto the front of my barn so that I could change out the wreath for every season. And I just added this wreath on top of it, and that is it for this DIY. I think this is so much fun. It is a little bit more of a complicated one, but if you're comfortable using wood and using power tools, then this one is perfect for you. I think it's just so much fun, and you can use the barn all year round. Stopping in real quick to let you know that I have a monthly subscription box of laser wood kits plus some scrapbook paper that goes along with those kits every single month. It's like Christmas every month straight to your door. I will leave my website linked down below so you can check it out. For this DIY, I picked up this Let's Eat cutting board from Walmart. I actually got this on sale for $2.50. It's originally $5, but only $2.50, and I'm going to stain it in this Rust-Oleum Beryl Brown. I just stained the entire thing. You don't necessarily have to do that because I am going to be painting some of it. I just decided to stain the whole thing because I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with it when I was doing this. But just stain your entire piece and then let it dry for a little while before adding your paint. Once it is all dry, I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint in moss. I'm going to take some painter's tape and add that to my cutting board. I made it so that the stained part was smaller than the painted part. So you're just going to place your painter's tape wherever you want, your paint to stain ratio. However you want to do it is perfect. I just gave that one good coat, and then I'm going to distress the edges just by taking some sandpaper and going along all the edges so that original kind of lighter wood color is peeking through. Now I'm going to add some surface wax to the painted portion because I am going to be using a COUTURE transfer. So I'm going to take it on just a cloth and add my wax to it. This is going to help with bleeding whenever I'm using COUTURE transfers or transfers that are similar to COUTURE ones, the adhesive stencils. I'm going to wax it, and like I said, I just find that it helps with bleeding so that I don't have any issues when I'm using my transfer. I'm going to take this one right here. It says Merry Christmas and has little trees. This is back in stock on COUTURE's website. They just launched a whole bunch of new stuff and brought back some of their other transfers. So if you're looking for some new autumn and Halloween and Christmas and just everyday transfers, they just launched a whole bunch of them. I'll leave COUTURE linked down below so you guys can check them out. I may have gone on a little bit of a shopping spree yesterday when they launched. So I'm excited to get that order. But like I said, if you want to check out their new stuff, I will leave it linked down below. And I'll also have the name of this one down below so that if you want to find this one, you can. So I just took that transfer, fuzzed it because it was a little bit too sticky. I'm going to add that to the bottom portion of my cutting board, and I just make sure it's all nice and stuck down. I'm going to use my bright white chalk paste on a squeegee, and I'm just going to squeegee this on top of my transfer, just making sure that I'm getting everything nice and covered, and then scraping off all of the excess because you don't want too much on there. And really, it doesn't take a whole lot of this paste to get this covered up. So I just make sure I scrape off any excess, and then I pull that up to reveal this beautiful image. Just make sure that you wash your transfer afterwards, and you can use it lots of times after that. I'm going to take some twine and wrap it around the handle of my cutting board several times, and I just glue the ends to the back. And then I'm going to take this greenery that I had. I just took a couple pieces off the pick that I had. I put the ends underneath the twine to hold it in place, and then I'm going to tie a bow using this trim that I got from Walmart. I'm just going to glue this right to the top of those greenery pieces, and this DIY is done. For this DIY, I'm going to take one of these Dollar Tree window arches. I remove that sign from the front, and then I'm going to take my Waverly chalk paint in white, and I'm going to give it a heavy distressing. I want the black to peek through, but I want it to be mostly white. So I just went over the entire thing, and I made sure to get all the inside parts with the window arch so that the entire thing was covered in white paint. Next, I'm going to take some greenery that I got from Hobby Lobby last year, as well as some red berries that came from the Dollar Tree. And I just took several of these leaves off and ended up cutting them apart so they were each leaf individual. And I had this little grapevine wreath that came from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to hot glue these leaves on top of the wreath. And I made sure to have the leaves all going in the exact same direction. Next, I will take those berries and just add a little bit of hot glue to each of them and glue them around the wreath as well. And then all you're going to do is hot glue your wreath to your window arch, and that's it for this DIY. Super simple and easy. This took me maybe 10 minutes to do, so if you're looking for a beginner-friendly, really easy Christmas DIY, this one's perfect for you. For this DIY, I'm going to grab these Scrabble tiles. I picked up several different packs. I got a couple from Michael's, and I ended up using just the packs from Michael's. You can also get these from Dollar Tree, which I'm showing you right here, but they are a little bit thicker in size, so I just decided to use all the ones from Michael's so that they were all the same size. And as well, if you pick up the ones from Dollar Tree, you will have to pick up probably maybe 4 or 5 packs of them to be able to do this DIY, because they only come with 26 pieces, where the Michael's ones come with more. I'm going to take out the letters to spell joy, Noel, peace, Mary, and then I ended up spelling believe instead of Christmas because Christmas was too long for my sign. And then I'm going to take this sign that I picked up from Walmart. I want to say this was maybe a couple dollars, maybe $2 or $3 at most. And I am going to paint the frame portion with my Waverly chalk paint in moss, and I just gave that one good coat. I'll take some scrapbook paper. This I got from Hobby Lobby last year, And I'm just going to put that inside of my sign and then press down on the edges of the other 2 spots where it's not, right in that frame, so I can give it a nice good crease, and then I'll use that crease to cut the paper out. I'm just going to use a glue stick to adhere my paper down. You could use Mod Podge, you could use whatever adhesive that you want to use. I find for me that a glue stick works perfectly, so I just add some glue to the back of that, add my paper down into the sign, and then I'm going to lay out all my Scrabble tiles on my sign. So we're kind of doing a Christmas tree look to the Scrabble tiles, kind of making them, shortest to longest in terms of word length. And I am going to glue these down using my super glue wood glue, and I just use a ruler to try to make sure that I'm getting these as straight as possible, at least to make sure that I'm getting the words themselves all straight next to each other so they're not, gradually going down. And I probably would have done this top to bottom first. I was trying to make it so that they weren't all scrunched up to the top and having a huge gap at the bottom, but anyways, I just you just glue them down onto your sign. Try to get them as straight as you possibly can. And then I'm going to take this laser cut star that I cut out from our laser machine. I do have these up on my website with different sizes that you can buy. We're gradually going to be adding more shapes and simple shape type items onto my website. So circles and squares and barns and animals and all sorts of different things we're going to start adding onto our website. But you can just find the stars under the shapes tab on my website. And I just took 2 more Scrabble tiles for the little stump at the bottom, and I just turned these over so you couldn't see the letters, glued those down, and that is it for this DIY. For this DIY, you are going to grab this pack of 3 wooden signs that you can get from Walmart. I don't remember how much this was. I bought it quite a while ago, but I took out all 3 signs, and I'm going to start by painting all of the frames with my Waverly Wax and Antique. And I just did a really rough version of this. I didn't worry about adding any painter's tape or anything to the sides to make it super even and straight. I just took my time with it and made sure that I was just getting the wax on the frame portion. And then I'll just use that wax for all the sides, and I'll also use it to stain the entire back. Now for the middle, I'm going to do 2 of my signs with my Waverly chalk paint in moss. Again, I'm just going around all the sides, making sure that I'm not getting any of that paint onto the frame portion of the sign. And then I'll just finish painting the entire inside of the sign in that same paint. And then for the 3rd sign, I'm going to use my Dixie Belle chalk paint in Barn Red, doing the exact same thing, just painting the entire middle, taking my time with the sides, and then giving the middle a good coat. I'm going to take these COUTURE transfers, which again are now in stock on COUTURE's website. If you guys also didn't know, if you are worried about the price of COUTURE, they just came out with a new program where you can sign up to be a designer for just $10 and then get the discounted pricing, which I think is a fantastic deal if you're looking to get COUTURE at a cheaper price. Just $10 to sign up, and then you get discounted prices on all of COUTURE. So if that's something that you've ever thought about, $10 to sign up, I think, is a fantastic deal. I'll have it linked below if you want to check it out. So these transfers, it comes with 4 transfers that look similar to this. I just used 3. Again, I'll have the name of this transfer in my description box if you want to find it on COUTURE's website. But I just took my bright white chalk paste and added that to all 3 of my transfers, and then remove the transfers when I'm all done, and it reveals a super pretty image. I cannot freehand to save my life, so having something like this to make it so that I don't have to sit and design anything and I can just slap it on there, add my chalk paste, and it looks perfect is the kind of DIY for me. So just make sure that you wash your transfers when you're done, and that's it for this DIY. So easy and simple, and I absolutely love this one. For this DIY, you are going to take 4 of these wood pieces that you can pick up from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to paint them all in my barn red from Dixie Belle. You're going to paint the top, the sides, the back, all of it. Just make sure the entire thing is covered in this red paint. Once that's dry, you can start assembling your piece into a box. I'm going to use that super glue, wood glue, and I'm just going to add the glue to the sides and turn this into a little box. Next, I'm going to take some trim that you can get from Walmart. I just glued this around the entire thing, had it overlap just a little bit, and this also helped kind of keep it in place while it was drying, which was nice. I'm going to make a bow using some twine just by wrapping it around 2 of my fingers about 2 times, taking an excess piece and tying that around the middle. You're left with this super cute twine bow. You're going to glue this to the middle of one of your crate sides, and that's it for this DIY. Stick one of your mini decorative Christmas trees inside here, and you have a cute little box around your Christmas tree. You could do this full size for your actual Christmas tree. You could use some wood or a different, material to create a crate around your Christmas tree with. And I think it would look absolutely adorable. It would look like a giant present under your Christmas tree, and it would also keep your pets and your kids from destroying your tree. And that's it for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me know which project was your favorite in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to subscribe before you guys leave. Hit that bell so that you guys are notified every time that I upload a new video. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!